Hello and welcome to Extra Madness on Ion Radio. I'm Ken, and we'll be going through the action here on Table 6 in the first round. This matchup is between James Blackburn with Admiral Ozzel and Danger Panda with Admiral Piett. These two fleets are effectively mirror fleets, so the fight should prove to be quite interesting. For the duration of this battle, on Danger Panda's side, Boba Fett will be flying in an aggressor assault fighter, and the three generic Fire Spray 31s will be proxied by YT-2400s. Let's take a look at both fleets and then get into the action. Coming in at 300 points is an Admiral Ozzel fleet brought to us by James Blackburn. Ozzel is on a Raider 1 Corvette with Hondo Ohnaka, external racks, and the Corvus title. There's a Victory 1 with Emperor Palpatine, veteran gunners, and linked turbo laser towers. An Architon's light cruiser with linked turbo laser towers. And 4 squadrons. Boba Fett leads the charge with Tel Truvura and 2 Fire Spray 31s. Coming in at 296 points is an Admiral Piett fleet brought to us by Danger Panda. The flagship is a Victory 1 with Piett, Minister Tua, flight controllers, flag bridge, linked turbo laser towers, the Corruptor title, electronic countermeasures, and all fighters follow me. Second ship is an Architon's light cruiser with Hondo Ohnaka, advanced projectors, linked turbo laser towers, and the Centaur title. 4 squadrons. Boba Fett leads the charge with Tel Truvura and 3 generic Fire Spray 31s. Piett has the bid and opts to go second, keeping his objectives. Ozzel gets to choose from Precision Strike, Contested Outpost, and Infested Fields. Infested Fields is selected, figuring that there are better opportunities to minimize a point deficit. Let's get to deployment. Exergorts are put down on the 2 obstacles furthest from Piett's side. Piett is on the left, Ozzel on the right. Ships are now deployed. Starting with Ozzel's ships, the Victory is set at speed 2, and the flagship Raider and Architons are both at speed 3. For Piett's fleet, the Victory is at speed 1, while the Architons is at speed 2. Danger Panda and Admiral Piett gain a pass token. Corvus opts to redeploy at the far right flank at speed 2. For the second activation of the game, Piett's Victory shows a squadron dial activating a Fire Spray 31, which lands on the asteroid field, collecting the first objective token. A second Fire Spray is activated through Centaur, also collecting an objective token further away. The Victory then moves at speed 1 to tuck in alongside the friendly Architons. Ozzel's Raider increases to speed 3. Ozzel's Victory 1 also activates with the squadron command, sending a lone Fire Spray 31 to the nearest debris field, collecting the token but well within range of the Exergorth. A second Fire Spray is activated, taking the other token closest to James Blackburn's deployment edge. Avoiding the Exergorth, the Victory moves forward with the Emperor on board. Squadron phase. After Exergorths do 1 damage to each of the closest squadrons, both players position their respective fighters for a future turn. Piett is able to move Boba Fett onto the remaining asteroid field with an objective token to take the lead in turn 1. Exergorths are returned to the play area, threatening all of Ozzel's squadrons. At the end of turn 1, the score is 45-30, Admiral Piett. Turn 2. Piett uses Hondo, taking a Concentrate Fire and Engineering token, providing a nav and squadron for Admiral Ozzel. The Architons will take the Concentrate Fire, while the Victory takes the Engineering. On Ozzel's side, Squadron goes to the Victory and the nav to the Architons. Ozzel activates his Architons first, with a nav. and opens fire on the opposing Architans. Able to block the evade and contain, the remaining hit is taken on the rear hull zone with advanced projectors. Piett activates his Architans, returning fire at close range. With a total of 5 damage and an accuracy, the evade is blocked, and the defending Architan spends its contain and redirect, losing the starboard and rear shields, taking a single face-down damage card. No further shots are made. Ozzel's Raider activates with a squadron command and uses it to get a Fire Spray 31 out of range of the close-by Exergorth. Ozzel then attacks the opposing Architans, ultimately scoring a single hit on the port side. Between Ozzel's ability and a nav token, the Raider drops down from speed 3 to 1. Piett activates his Victory flagship. Out of range from any opposing units, it takes a nav and increases speed to 2. Ozzel activates his Victory. Using the Hondo Squadron token, Boba Fett is moved forward and away from the Exergorth. A medium-range shot to the Architans hits with 4 and is subsequently evaded and redirected to push 2 damage to different shields. Using the nav dial to get the extra yaw on the last joint, the Victory is primed to destroy the Architans in turn 3. Exergorth's attack, hitting and activating the same squadron, leaving it on 1 hull. The other Fire Spray takes 2 damage, dropping it down to 3 hull, and Tel Trevura scatters the 2 incoming hits. Obstacles are moved, but Piett's squadrons are ready to do some work. The first Fire Spray hits Ozzel's Architans for 2. This damage is taken on the front. A further exchange of fire between the Tels causes James Tel to drop down to 3 hull. Boba Fett comes in doing an additional 2 damage, leaving Ozzel's Tel Trevura on 1 hull. Exergorths are replaced and we move into turn 3 with the score remaining 45 to 30. Turn 3 begins with James using Hondo. A squadron and repair go to the Raider and Architans, while the Nav and Confire are taken by Danger Panda and assigned to the Architans and Victory. Ozzel activates his Victory Star Destroyer with the Concentrate Fire command. It immediately opens fire on the Architans directly ahead, rolling the full complement of 3 red and 3 black dice, and adding an extra black die with the Concentrate Fire dial. A total of 5 hits with a crit and 2 accuracies are rolled. Blocking the redirect tokens, Piett decides to evade the hit, hoping for a blank. This crit becomes a hit, scoring 5 total damage. 1 is absorbed by the shield, leaving the Architans on 1 hull remaining. Second attack by the Victory is out the port side, flacking at squadrons. One of the Fire Spray 31s takes a hit. Moving at speed 2, the Victory rams the Architans, destroying it in the process. Updated score is 102 to 45 in favor of Admiral Ozzel. Down to 1 ship, Piett activates his Star Destroyer with a navigation command. He then fires into the side of the Architans at medium range, blocking the evade and showing 3 hits. With no shields to redirect to, the defending Architans now has 4 of 5 hull points destroyed. A long-range side shot to the front of the Raider is next. A double is rolled and quickly evaded. Using the navigate dial, the Victory slows down to speed 1. Ozzel's Architans activates, showing a Concentrate Fire dial. Spending its repair token, it moves 2 shields from the port to the starboard side. Close range shot to the Victory starts with 2 blanks and a hit on the red dice. Concentrate Fire dial adds another blank and LTT makes no changes, showing only a total of 1 damage. The Raider activates next, showing a concentrate fire dial. Using the squadron token, Ozzel activates a fire spray, blocking the scatter, and does 1 damage. The Raider then begins flacking squadrons. Against Boba Fett, after adding in the Confire die and using X-Racks, 5 total hits are scored. Boba Fett braces this down to 3. Tel Trevura chooses to not burn tokens and suffers a single hit. Ozzel then increases the speed of his flagship to 2. In the squadron phase, one of the Exergorts is within range of a fire spray, hitting it for 2 and destroying the squadron. Obstacles are moved, and James's Tel Trevura fires on Danger Panda's Boba Fett, dropping him to 2 hull remaining. James activates his Boba Fett, attacking a generic fire spray, only hitting it for 1. When Danger Panda activates his Boba Fett, Tel Trevura on James' side is destroyed. Panda's Tel fires on a fire spray, no damage. One of James' fire sprays attacks Boba Fett, blocking the green brace. Boba Fett spends out the brace, reducing the incoming damage to 1. Another generic fire spray attacks the front of the Raider, doing 1 damage on its 4 shield. At the end of round 3, the score is 102 to 80 in favor of Ozzel. Ozzel's Architans is the first to activate, taking a concentrate fire dial. Able to draw a line of sight to the forward arc of the Victory, she makes a close-range shot. Unfortunately, even with the Confire die, only a hit and a crit are scored, along with an accuracy. Blocking the brace, the 2 damage is redirected to the shield facing the Architans, knowing that attacks from the other direction are going to be incoming. Using a Navigate token and Ozzel, the Architans is able to jump up to speed 3, avoiding the debris field. Piett's Victory activates next, showing a squadron dial and keeping it. Using the Repair token and Piett, the Victory regenerates 2 shields, 1 on each side. The first of 3 squadrons to activate is Boba Fett. As he is within distance 1 of the opposing Victory, it suffers 1 damage on the rear. Boba Fett moves to the rear of the Victory and attacks, doing 2 damage. These 2 are redirected to the starboard side. Second activated squadron is a Fire Spray 31, attacking James Boba Fett. 2 hits and an accuracy are scored, bringing Boba Fett down to 2. Another Fire Spray 31 is also activated, attacking Boba Fett, and has the same roll of 2 hits with an accuracy. This does destroy Boba Fett on James' side, adjusting the score and changing the leader. Weighing his options, Admiral Piett opts to fire at the close-range Raider first, out the side of the Victory. 3 hits with a critical and an accuracy are rolled. Blocking the brace, the Raider exhausts and evade, forcing the Black Double into a single hit. This drops the forward shield on the Raider and scores a hull hit on Ozzel's flagship. The second attack is against the Victory. In a front-to-front close-range shot, 5 hits are rolled. This is braced and subsequently redirected, only allowing for shield damage. Ozzel's Victory Star Destroyer now only has a single shield on the front, and the right side shield is now down. With nowhere to maneuver, the Victory's ram. Ozzel activates his personal Raider with a concentrate fire, returning the salvo of weapons fire into the front of the opposing Victory. Although only 2 blue and 2 black dice are rolled, an accuracy and 4 damage are the end result. Using the concentrate fire dial and adding in a black die, a blank is rolled. Only able to redirect with the exhausted token, 1 hit goes to the forward shield and the port side is now dropped. With no other shots, the Raider moves at speed 3, just avoiding a ram with the larger Star Destroyer. Ozzel's Victory shows a concentrate fire dial. firing into the other victory at close range. After adding in an additional black die with concentrate fire, 7 total hits are produced. This is braced, and the remaining exhausted redirect token is discarded, knocking down the total to 4, all taken on shields. Piett's victory now has no shields remaining on the front or side arcs. In a strategic decision, rather than ramming into the victory, Ozzel drops the speed down to 1, and the victory is able to barely land with only a sliver between the 2 ships. Exergorths begin the squadron phase. The first Exergorth attacks James Blackburn's fire spray, which takes 1 hit. Danger Panda's Tel Trevura escapes unhurt. Tel Trevura attacks the fire spray, scoring the 2 damage required to destroying it. Piett has a remaining fire spray, which fires into the front of the victory. With 2 hits, Ozzel elects to spend an exhausted redirect to take only shield damage. Admiral Piett activates all fighters, follow me. Starting with his Architans, Ozzel shows a repair and is able to remove a damage card, reducing the total damage to 3. The attack is from the side into the rear of the victory. 1 hit, a blank, and an accuracy on 3 red dice. LTT rerolls the blank into another blank. A single hit is scored on the rear shield of the victory. Staying at speed 2, the Architans is able to stay on the table. It does land on the Exergorth, suffering 1 damage to the right shield. Piett activates the victory, showing a squadron dial and using it. A fire spray activates and moves toward the fleeing Architans. 2 hits are rolled into the down front shield. The evade changes 1 hit into an accuracy, and the use of the redirect moves the damage to the right shield. Tel Trevura is the second squadron activated. Another bombing run at the Architans is unsuccessful, as Tel is unfortunately not a bomber and rolls crits. The closest squadron to the Architans ordinarily could not reach from firing range. However, the Corruptor title does come into play here. A hit and crit are rolled. An exhausted evade is discarded, failing to change the crit. 2 damage are scored, the critical being comm noise, and the second hit destroying the Architans. With squadron activations finished, the victory attacks the opposing victory front to side. The initial roll included 1 accuracy, a red double, a black hit, and a red and black blank. LTTs re-roll the blank into an accuracy, negating all of the victory's defensive tokens. 5 damage do get through. The critical is Coolant Discharge, limiting the ability of the opposing victory to a single ship attack. 6 of the 8 hull hits required to destroy the victory are now on Ozzel's ship. The side shot at the Raider's rear is braced to 1 and absorbed by the shields. Another collision with the victory leaves Ozzel's victory at 1 hull remaining and Piett's at 2 of 8 hits. Ozzel activates his heavily wounded victory with a concentrate fire dial, launching a return attack against a ship with only an exhausted brace token. Concentrate fire rolls in a black die with a blank. Tossing the brace, the hits go through with a critical being none other than a structural damage. At this stage, both Victory Star Destroyers have 1 hull remaining. Boba Fett is flaked, leaving him at 1 hull point. Rather than ram into the victory, destroying both ships, Ozzel maneuvers his ship along the side, knowing he will move his ship first in turn 6. Can the Raider finish off the victory? The dial is a concentrate fire. There are no defense tokens and no shields. The first attack from the Raider's side. Black is blank and the blue is an accuracy. Confire a black die. Another blank. The second attack. 1 blue die only. It's rolled and is a hit. Piett is now been tabled. Ozzel moves his raider at speed 4 into the corner, hoping to avoid the rogue bombing of the remaining Piett squadrons. Moving into the squadron phase, Exergorths attack first. The first fire spray is hit for 3, reducing it to 3. The second fire spray is hit for 2, now on 4. Tel Traverta is attacked, and with both tokens blocked, takes 1 hit, leaving him on 1. Remaining fighters are out of range and obstacles are moved. There are 2 unactivated squadrons left on the field of battle, both belonging to Admiral Piett. Boba Fett attacks a victory, spending a brace because of Palpatine. Hit crit with bomber and an accuracy preventing the use of the brace. There is a life support failure right before the victory explodes into a giant ball of flame. The final fire spray goes after the raider. Able to get into bombing range, the roll of an accuracy and a hit is only enough to drop the rear shield. The final score for James Blackburn, 300 points due to a tabling, plus 2 victory tokens for a grand total of 330. Danger Panda has destroyed 228 points of ships. Adding in the 45 with the 3 gained tokens, there is a combined total of only 273. This does result in a 6-5 win for James Blackburn and Admiral Ozzel with a margin of victory of 57. Moving on to the tournament scoreboard. First, an update. The SD Post 1969 versus Ghost game was actually an 8-3 as the MOV was 208. This does not adjust the current standings, but could have an effect on round 2 pairings. James Blackburn has taken 5th position, while Danger Panda is currently sitting in 8th. There are still 2 matches to play in this first round, and it looks as though at least 5 points will be needed to progress into round 2. Until next time, I'm Ken, and stay tuned for the next matchup on Extra Madness here on Ion Radio.